Hello everyone, welcome to our series India After Independence. Let's begin agriculture and land reforms. Traditional nature of Indian agriculture was altered by the colonial impact. It created more classes and commoditized land. Colonial rule introduced high tax regime, a will of intermediaries like zamindars and sub-zamindars, growth of landlordism, renting on a very wide scale, destroyed traditional handicraft and artisanal industry, increased the number of the landless, and so on. Instead of imbibing a modern capitalist outlook, colonial rule pushed agriculture into backwardness. Problem of smallholding were further accentuated by their fragmentations. Extremely high taxes led to high indebtedness and bonded labor. In such situation, where the bulk of the Indian peasantry was drained of any resources, living close to or below subsistence level, and where the upper sections of rural society found rent and usury more profitable than capitalist agriculture as a source of income, very little agricultural investment and improvement actually took place. Backwardness of industry also led to overcrowding of the agriculture, and industry failed to absorb surplus rural labor. Support to the cause of peasantry started very early in the national movement. Early outfits like the Pune Sarvajanik Sabha and Indian Association raised their issue aggressively. 1920s saw peasant movements emerging in Uttar Pradesh and Malabar in close association with non-cooperation and Khilafat movements. Bardoli Satyagraha of 1928 emerged as a model peasant movement and marked the unification of the peasant struggle and the national movement to an unprecedented level. Indian National Congress at its Karachi session of 1931 included agriculture agenda also in its fundamental rights and economic program and included provisions like reduction of rent or revenue, relief from agricultural indebtedness, etc. Bihar Kisan Sabha adopted the slogan of Zamindari abolition. Communists and socialists also joined the cause of peasantry. The movement was given a pan Indian shape with formation of All India Kisan Sabha in 1936, which joined by likes of Jawaharlal Nehru as well. When Congress formed provincial government in 1937, it brought various measures to alleviate the conditions of peasants. For example, in Bihar, tenancy legislations were passed which abolished all increases in rent since 1911. In 1942, national leadership further grew sympathetic to cause of peasantry, and Gandhiji even suggested that peasants should seize the land of landlords and landlords should respond by giving the land in favor of those who cultivate it. After the war, the peasant movements, which had subsidized during it, again revived. Congress appointed Agrarian Reforms Committee soon after independence under leadership of J.C. Kumarappa in 1949. In its Nagpur session of 1959, it brought out a radical program for improving conditions of peasant class. Land reforms that were started covered four broad areas. First, abolition of intermediaries like zamindars and jagirdars. A number of states had introduced zamindari abolition laws by 1949. However, often it was met by litigations and termed as a violation of right to property. Government had to bring first constitutional amendment to counter it. Another difficulty in its implementation was absence of land records. Compensation paid to zamindars for acquisition of their lands varied from state to state and was even zero in states like Kashmir. However, the program of the abolition of zamindari system was beset with many problems. In states like Uttar Pradesh, zamindars were permitted to keep lands that were declared to be under their personal cultivation, and what constituted personal cultivation was very loosely defined. In some states like Bihar, there was no limit on the size of land that could be kept under personal cultivation. Big landlords also pressurized state legislators to pass legislations in their favor as land is a state subject. If passed, such laws were frequently subjected to litigation. Implementation of laws was also shabby, and revenue officers often colluded with the zamindars. Thank you.